Welcome to Butch's Building Blocks. Let's build something beautiful today. Let's take some tiger stripe maple and Padauk, combine them together into a wavy cutting board. Okay, we have our two pieces of maple and Padauk. We are starting out with a 14-inch length, a little over 10.5 and almost 7/8 of an inch thick. The first thing that I've done is mark every inch across my board. Second thing is I took a 1/4-inch piece of copper wire and bent it into the curve that I want. And now I'm going to mark it at an inch here, and I'm going to draw my curves all the way across the board. After I got done drawing my curves, this is what it looked like on the board. I do have 10 sections, which is just what I needed. The very first one, I had to draw a little cutout, shall we say, in order to make it even. Otherwise, this would have been a really big section right there. Now that we have our wavy lines drawn, we need to add double sticky tape to the back of our second board. We're going to take, after we peel the protective coating off, we're going to take this one, put it on top, and stick them together before we go to the bandsaw. After doing your bandsaw, you should have a series of individual segments. In my case, I have 10 of them. We're now going to split these and then build our two cutting boards. Okay, now it's time to take our board and separate it. We're going to take a top and leave a bottom. Okay, now we've got two wavy boards. If you wanted to, you could glue these up, stop right here, sand and oil and finish them, and they'd be beautiful as they are. But we're going to glue them together, and then we're going to cut them cross grain the next time. We're going to glue these up, but like most of your exotic woods, Padauk is difficult to glue. There's a lot of oils and resins in the woods, so you need to take some isopropyl alcohol or something similar and wipe down that glue edge before you do anything. You can see the amount of orange that came off. Some of that is dust from the bandsaw, but a lot of that is also just the resin. If you don't get this off, your Padauk, and in my case maple, they will not glue together very well. Most of them will end up splitting and falling apart, and you'll have to redo your work. Here's my final glue configuration. Got 3 parallel clamps and 2 other clamps. We needed to make sure that we had this little piece secure in there, and we're going to let this sit probably for a good 2 hours to be sure that glue dries and be sure that there's a strong bond between the Padauk and the maple. After our first glue up, I sanded it down with my drum sander till everything's nice and level. Once again, I marked every inch going up. This second series of cuts is going cross grain. After you've made your markings across and you go to put your sticky tape on here, be sure that your pattern is set up in opposites. It's very easy to make a mistake and do this, in which case your final pattern is going to be off by that much. It's not a bad looking pattern when you do that, but it's just not as smooth and clean as you would probably like. Here is what it looks like when you do the cross cut in the wavy fashion. Now we're going to separate it again the same way. We're going to have a top and a bottom piece. So we'll end up with 2 cutting boards. You should end up with 2 wavy cutting boards looking like this, alternating bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, all the way across. Now at this point in time, take a look at your joints and you can see that there's some cracks here. A little bit of gap there, a little bit of gap there, and a little bit of gap here. So this is where I'm going to have to go in and do some hand sanding in order to close those gaps so that they don't show up in the final product. Here's what the board looks like after the second glue up. Some of these slices are high and proud, so I'm going to take this and run it through my drum sander until it's nice and smooth. Here's our full board. When I went to sand it, I noticed that we had one of the blocks cracked here. It caused this whole end to push out. You can see how much further out it is. How much further out it is from the real edge. There's no way to really recover from that. Massive gap, crack. So I just cut this whole piece off. And now we'll just have a smaller board, but still very beautiful. Now that our board is sanded smooth and squared up, it's time to round these corners over. I've marked all 4 corners with a pencil, and now I'm going to go to the bandsaw, cut those off before we end up doing our 1/4 inch round over on this board. Now that our board has been water popped and sanded to 220 grit, I'm going to apply some finish. Since this is going to be a serving board, I'm not going to put on any mineral oil for several reasons. One, the mineral oil will yellow the maple a little bit, and it will also pull some of the oils out of the Paduke and drag it across as I'm wiping. So I'm going to use General Finishings water-based top coat high performance satin. Here's what our board looks like before any application of our finish. And this is what our board looks like after applying the General Finishes top coat. Looks very nice. You can see the curl in the maple, and yet the maple still has retained its whiteness relative to the Paduke. Here are our 2 wavy cutting boards. This is a great project. You get 2 boards for the effort of making 1. This is our first one that I made. I did carve a juice groove in this one because it was big enough for it. The second one was the one where we had that little crack failure on the side that I had to cut off. So I just left this one to be a straight serving board. These 2 are beautiful projects. Hope I've given you enough information so you can build these at home. Thanks for watching my video.